My own personal ambition is to do what I can to get the world off carbon, because the carbon scientists are saying we've absolutely got to do it. This is a desperate situation. Within about 30 years, we have to cut about all of the carbon use in the world, otherwise we're cooked. And we think of future generations living in a hell if we don't do something really serious real quick. I've been trying to develop an example of total off-carbon living, and my lifelong hobby, as well as my profession, which is solar energy and heat engines. That's what I do. You say it costs too much, I say it's cheaper than golf. One array is connected only to the battery, and it's an emergency power out in the case of a battery, but it'll run the whole house for 2 days if you minimize the use. The car is a wonderful appliance. Carol uses it for everything, and I think it's the most fantastic car I ever had because it's way too fancy. We get hot water from a heat pump or a solar collector or the wood stove, which is inside. The valve system is too complex for a normal human being to understand. So in case of need, it's hopeless. So I just put it to the default position of the electric heat pump, no problem.
My life cooked with gas, but we decided we didn't want to give anybody an excuse for fracking. So when we got the solar panels, and this runs totally on our solar electricity, they're better than gas as far as being fast, and you can set it for any temperature you want. Those of you who cook with gas, it's very hard to keep something really low without the flame going out. This you can set any way you want. The only hitch is you have to have the kind of pans that a magnet will stick to. And so I actually bought new pans because my old ones were not the right kind of steel. But I've been cooking for 55 years and I thought maybe it's okay to buy new pans. It's the coming thing. In addition to this one, which was Consumer Reports' top-rated induction stove, this is the Kenmore. The one outside, I have a summer kitchen, is a GE. Gave my gas stove away. There's a device that makes an alternating electromagnetic field, zip, 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 and it heats only the pan. This will not heat at all. You saw this was on. I can put my hand on it. Because the pan gets hot, the surface will get a little hot, but it doesn't get hot like an electric ceramic stove gets. And that means that your kitchen is not so hot in the summertime, because the only thing that gets hot is the actual pan that you have on it. Contrasts well with this microwave. This you would call a hot plate, except like the other one, it doesn't get hot. It's an induction heater. It costs $72, and you can get it online. And so we have slow-cooked oatmeal for breakfast every morning. I put it on, I set the timer, and then I go and read my newspaper on the web. And I don't have to pay any attention to it because the timer turns it off. This is one half of the heat pump, and the other one is out there. It can either heat, or it can cool in the summer, or it can simply be dehumidifier. Of course, it uses some electricity, but it doesn't use as much as you might think. Then last week, we had the roof, on the top of the roof, 2 inches of isocyanate foam put. And it has really made a difference just in this 1 week. We had that foam sprayed underneath the floor. So now we have a really well insulated roof, except for the windows. And we expect that because of that, we probably could keep the house heated even in the winter. Electric hot water heater. And it's another heat pump. And it doesn't use very much electricity, and it keeps the water hot. This root cellar, incidentally, was dug in an Indian mound, and when they dug it, they dug out 13 skeletons. I mean, they should never have done it, but this was 100 years ago, and people weren't paying any attention to things like that. What I do in my garden, it's full of food and jam and a little bit of venison. If the grid goes down, we can just run the house vital parts on the batteries, the freezer, and the computers, of course. How could you run without computers? And the refrigerator and a few lights. And when the derecho came, and we only had about a quarter of panels we have right now, we managed to keep everything going for the 11 days we were off the grid. Our bill right now is minus $280. Whether we'll see anything of that, and we'll wait and see. Well, it's cement. That's what you're looking at. It was earth on the top. It was a root cellar that was covered with dirt from an Indian mound.
My little daydream is to set up a company in Athens called Athens Innovation, built on the model free-form R&D group, where individuals come in there in an open space and just do their thing, no matter how crazy, and people come around and give them a little bit of money if they look promising. There are models of this sort of thing. It's really a wild kind of a development process, but it really works. Everybody who's got a crazy idea can go try it. And nobody's criticizing. And one of them is the biogas generator, and you put all the university food waste, etc., in that thing, and you run the entire fleet of cars for the city. When I was a kid, I was addicted to big kites. The other kids were flying kites like this. I was flying a kite that was 10 feet high. My problem was I couldn't hold it. The kite goes up in the air, it starts burning my hand, I gotta let go of the kite. Now you'd think a little kid would learn something from that. Like, you can't ever get the kite back once you got it in the air. What I learned is there's an awful lot of power in a kite. So just imagine two kites. The string on the kites are wrapped around the windlass, which is attached to a generator. This kite goes back and pulls the generator. This kite goes forward at a low angle, and then they reverse. They go like this. And they put out 10 times the power of an ordinary windmill. And they're dirt cheap. And Carol said, oh my God, they might fall on somebody. And I said, well, have you ever been hit by a thrown sheet? That's what it is. There's nothing up there, it's just a piece of cloth. I used to fly an airplane when I was foolish and young. And my map always showed areas to avoid. It was a standard procedure. Don't fly over Fort Knox. No. Don't fly over the NASA Air Base. Don't fly over the refinery in Cleveland. They might think you're a bad guy. This one says, don't fly over the kites.
Has this been done anywhere?
Yes. I'm glad you asked that question. All of this stuff has been done. All of it. There's nothing new here. There are no inventions. It's just a matter of getting your head on the job and doing it. You know, the pickup truck you're sitting in costs more than all of the stuff that you've seen. I look at the Ads Adventure in the back page, they have 4 pickup trucks, $50K a piece. $50K a piece for a pickup truck. This entire system cost half that. It's utterly amazing, the skewed priorities. And anytime you hear anybody say, this costs too much, you say, well, how come we are doing that, which costs more? And they say, oh, well, windmills take carbon to make, so does your Corolla. So does your heat pump. So does your furniture, everything. So what's new? You can take that budget of carbon and you can buy a great big fat pickup truck, or you can take way less than that budget and buy a Leaf. Take your pick. We live in an insane world, folks. It's nuts. You can go to the web and you can find it. It's all there. All been done. In Sweden, they look all over the world for trash. They go to New York City and they import the New York City trash to Stockholm to burn it in their power plant right in the city.
Middle of the city.
My feeling about that great gyre of plastic crap in the North Pacific, get a great big power boat with a seine on it, scoop it all up, stick it in the power boat, and generate electricity for all of Alaska.
There you go.
There you go. Cheap.
Free.
We have a golden opportunity. I realize that does not solve the population problem. It does not solve the agriculture problem. It does not solve the phosphate runoff into the Great Lakes, but it solves the energy problem. The R&D engineer always assumes there's always a perfectly obvious solution, because usually there is. You want to go to the moon? Oh, we know how to do that. It just takes a bazillion billion dollars and gobs of engineers, but we know how to do it. Here's my solution. Don't tell anybody to the population. Make a whole bunch of sex robots. These sex robots are so attractive that you're not interested in any DNA sex partner. You got this sex robot, it takes all of your energy, and that's the end of the population. There's a little imagination.